Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Expressive Tone TV. Convey your thoughts and feelings to the world. Guys, new update. Shettima has come to reply Peter Obi for condemning the decision of Wike to build a house of 15 billion naira for him in this hard time. If we can remember, Peter Obi has condemned the decision of Wike to build a house for Shettima with 15 billion naira in this hard time when Nigerians are suffering. I don't want to talk too much here. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do. I want to seize this opportunity to say thank you to all my returning subscribers, my returning viewers. I say thank you. I appreciate you. God bless you. If you have not dialed that button, please touch the dial, press the notification bell, like the video, and also drop your comment below. What do you think about Shettima's reply? Is he right? Is it right in this hard time for Wike to use 15 billion naira to build a house for him, apart from the 4 billion and 3 billion respectively that has been kept for the renovation of his house? Is he right? Please watch the videos and I will see you in my next video. Cheers.
Abuja. Shettima, through his spokesperson, was responding to recent criticisms of the project by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party during the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, who questioned why the government planned to spend so much money on building and renovating residences both in Abuja and Lagos for the vice president, but budgeted a paltry 5 billion naira for student loans in the country. The vice president denounced Obi's comments, describing it as a series of misguided attacks and falsehoods, stating that the decision to resume the project, which was abandoned by previous administrations, was in line with the Tinubu administration's commitment at completing long-abandoned public projects across the country. Shettima further accused Obi of post-election trauma and divisive rhetoric, urging him and others in opposition to accept defeat gracefully and prioritize Nigeria's interests. I believe the director pulled up Peter Obi's tweet. Let me just get some of that. What Obi said, I believe, on Monday was that he wrote, "Even as I am still studying the 2024 fiscal budget as presented to the National Assembly last week, I cannot wait as I am compelled to ask, what is exactly wrong with us as a country?" I mean, this tweet got a lot of reactions. He further went on to say the budget of 5 billion naira for student loans, which is yet to be disbursed, is only a tiny percentage of the cost of the vice president's new home. We are projecting to use 4 times the amount for educating all Nigerian indigent students to house the vice president. We need leaders who show compassion and are willing to sacrifice for common progress and development. Such compassionate and frugal leaders are critical in our journey to the new Nigeria. Over to you while I catch my breath. Ayomide.
Absolutely. I first of all, before I comment on the story, must say that thank you to the opposition leaders, opposition, for doing what they're supposed to do, which is, as in opposition, check government, criticize when necessary, and also give alternatives as well. I think that's also one area that we must look into. So beyond just pointing out where the government isn't doing very right, is also giving an alternative solution to the issues at hand. So that's that. So thank you so much. And in saying that, I must say that the vice president's response shouldn't shame Mr. Peter Obi for doing what he ought to be doing, being in the opposition. That is checking, going through documents, and not just him. I kudos to CSO, civil society organizations like Budget and the likes, who have also taken it upon themselves, journalists as well, to criticize, to critically look at the budget and bring out or point out things in there that ought not to be there. So 15 billion naira to renovate President Tinubu's the official residence, and the vice president is bringing up a justification for this. When you look at the current state of affairs in Nigeria, especially economically, Unfortunately, there's no justification. It's the same way where they try to justify the number of people that were sponsored to COP28, saying that, oh, it was important under the current economic climate. It's the same way they're trying to justify the fact that in front of the Vanguard newspaper today, there's a further breakdown of how much money is being spent, especially at state level. 15 billion naira on trips is what's budgeted in 2024 elections. Villa, mechanical, electrical maintenance at 9 billion naira. All these, Oji, are higher than the student loan. So this is where you put education, and this is where you put sustaining or maintaining buildings or funding the lifestyle of people in government. Not reflective at all. Vehicles, even though in the supplementary budget we talked about the vehicle allocation, there's still a vehicle allocation of 6 billion naira in the 2024 budget. Then we have honorarium, which is, well, that's about 365.8 million naira. And then you wonder that what really is the priority of this particular government? What is the priority? When President Tinubu was campaigning, and even during his inauguration speech, he had talked about his commitment to security, to education, to the young people in Nigeria, but it's not reflective in the spending and what the budget talks about. So if you're giving 15 billion naira to renovate the presidential quarters, which, by the way, is not necessary at this time. I say that emphatically. Rufai keeps giving the example of the Prime Minister of France, who cannot even dare say he wants to touch his official residence because the people will be up in arms. And then here we are, battling an economic crisis whereby we're looking at the budget deficits, we're looking at revenue shortage, we're looking at having to service debt, and what we're focused on is spending billions of naira on buildings and trips, and then we are putting 5 billion naira to give to student loans that people, the students and us who are saying that is nowhere near enough. We have to rethink, and as John Maxwell says, everything starts and rises and falls with leadership. Our leaders must begin to demonstrate that they are part of this society we live in, and they are in touch with the sufferings of the people. I hope that this will be shut down in the House. I hope, being the key word, because as we've said, it looks like a rubber stamp assembly. But I hope that when it's defended in the House, they will shut it down and take off some numbers and not actually inflate these numbers under these categories.
Well said, Ayo. Dr. Abate, I'd like for you to, start with the NAF aircraft, my first story.
Okay. You recall that when President Buhari was campaigning, one of the things he said in 2019, ahead of the 2019 election, was that he was going to sell some of the aircraft in the presidential fleet.
Yes.
But he got there, he didn't sell any aircraft. If anything, I think under his watch, they even acquired, an additional helicopter. But now, this time around, under the Tinubu administration, they are trying to sell off one of the Nigerian Air Force aircraft. The Nigerian Air Force, by the way, manages the presidential fleet,
yes,
and they have all the ceremonial aircraft that they use for official purposes. So this one is said to be a Falcon, right? Now, the only thing that I see here is that, well, I don't know about aircraft, but this aircraft has been commissioned, has been in service since 1990. But people who know the subject say with an aircraft, it's not the age that matters,
yes,
it's the quality of the maintenance. But the only caveat that I have here is that they are asking people to do an open bid, either to do it virtually or to do it physically. And if you do it physically, you seal it, all in line with the Public Procurement Act of 2007, as Air Commodore Gapquet pointed out. Now they are saying that the payment will be in dollars. Why would the Nigerian government, Nigerian Air Force, want to sell aircraft, Nigerian-owned aircraft, operated by Nigerian Air Force, and they are quoting in dollars? The currency of Nigeria is in naira.
It's naira. So
they will exclude people who are patriots, who spend naira. The CBN Act of 2005 says that the current 2007 says that the national currency of Nigeria is the naira. So if the federal government wants to sell a commodity, forget the fact that it's an aircraft, and they want to sell it in dollars. So why will anybody then complain again if landlords are collecting rent in dollars? If some markets, some shops, luxury shops, by the way, not your kind of supermarket. That's why I quickly change the phrase. Luxury shops are selling items in dollars. So, and there are some government departments that I even understand quote and accept payment in dollars. Now, look, if we want the Naira to have integrity, maybe we should do transactions more in Naira. I don't know, some people may be laughing and say how much lorry loads of Naira will purchase one aircraft. That is good to see that they are cutting fat. Yeah. They need to cut fat, not just with the fleet managed by the Nigerian Air Force, but also cut fat, run a lean government, a more efficient government in every area, including the meals that they consume at the highest levels, and including the trips that they embark upon, whether to Dubai or to elsewhere. As for the statement credited to the Vice President, I checked that statement. That was a statement issued by his spokesperson, Stanley Nkocha. And this is the first time I will see Stanley Nkocha issuing a statement. Sometimes I tell our colleagues, or the boys that are on the block now, that it's not everything you respond to. There's nothing that Mr. Obi said, Peter Obi said, that Waziri Adamawa has not said, that all of us on this table did not say about the building, because we said, look, at a time when there is austerity in the land, we shouldn't be talking about big structures. But the explanation by Stanley Nkocha is that this was a project that had been there, and an abandoned project since 2010, and that government has returned to it. The FCTA, Federal Capital Territory Administration, led by Nyesom Wike, which manages structures in the Federal Capital Territory, says he doesn't want abandoned projects. But he has gone to start with the VP's residence. When we had earlier been told in the supplementary budget that provisions have been made for the renovation of the VP's residence. So that's why people are raising issues. So all the explanations given by Stanley Nkocha doesn't make sense. But the funny part of it that I found is that Peter Obi is suffering from post-election trauma. Now, using such strong language will not stop the opposition from speaking. Yeah. So spokespersons should know their limits. It's one thing to be seen to be working. I mean, I don't think it's the VP himself that will go and say, okay, go and write a statement to go and abuse Peter Obi. Nobody does that. But Stanley Nkocha will jump ahead and say, I have to defend my Oga. I have to defend my Oga. If he wants to do that with this emerging opposition, he will be busy every day writing rejoinders.
Yes. I love that word, emerging opposition. I love the fact, and your point is quite valid, the fact that these two oppositions, they're out here now questioning all the facts. We have Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi continuing to, shine light on these issues that disturb Nigerians. Well, let's head over to Namibia now, where some